there. Good morning once again, and thank you for joining us. Time now for BTH. Now, this morning, almost all of the newspapers buzzing with one big headline: see something, say something. We asked the question, why are we supposed to see something and say something? Today on Prime Morning, we're quizzing what is really the actual state in terms of security in this country. Do you feel safe? Do I also feel safe? What do you have to say? Any comments, any questions? I'd like to hear from you. Hashtag Prime Morning on Twitter, or you can send us a message on 0551 575757. Now, to answer all of these questions, we've got government spokesperson on security and governance, Palgrave Wachidanka. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
It's been quite a busy week for you.
Well, quite a busy week for all of government. And government has an opportunity to continually really engage with the citizenry to be informed. And that's the real goal of citizen engagement governance, open democracy. In this day and age.
Open democracy?
Open democracy.
Democracy that is open again?
Well, yeah, I mean, the real essence of democracy is to ensure that you are keeping accounts and accounting to the people, really, because the people are the ones that give you the opportunity to serve. And that's the real goal of governance. And I have seen that, I mean, on this continent, by and far, post-continental leaders are beginning really to see that the real benefit of deepening democracy is to have an open democracy. Okay.
Now this morning, all we want to achieve, by the end of the conversation, we want to achieve one objective: curb any form of fear or insecurity any citizen might just be feeling up until yesterday, even before the See Something, Say Something campaign was launched. But what is really the true state in terms of security in Ghana?
Well, I think that the true state of security in Ghana is a broader conversation. Ghana is extremely noted as a beacon of peace and stability. We are ranked as the first on the continent. We are also ranked as the first as well.
First on the
yes, first on the continent in terms of the most peaceful country that you can ever find. Right. We are ranked the 38th in the world. So the world has close to about 198 countries. So clearly, if you're able to come top notch in the first 50, that's critically good. In terms of our national security architecture and the entire security apparatus, I believe very well that our country stands tall, really, even on the continent of Africa and the subregion of West Africa. We've seen very clearly a number of works that government has put in place, especially in the rise of high terrorists. And I'd like to give a bit of a history. I think that in 1992, if persons will remember, especially people that have followed northern politics for quite a bit of time, there was an election in Algeria, and they sought to Islamize the country. As a result of that, they went into a civil unrest for about 10 years, from 1992 right up to 2002. In the midst of that, it birthed the rise of terrorists, and that came about with Boko Haram, came about with ISIS, came about with Al-Shabaab, and really you realize that various pockets of the continent divided into various aspects, about 5: West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, all of those other continents and the various hubs, especially even the Horn of Africa, began seeing the rise of high level of terror acts. But the real goal is that they want to be able to enter into countries where they have high level of resources, and countries where there is a high level of interest in terms of development and growth from the Western world. And you've seen clearly at various places where they've been, the interest has been to be able to get gold, bauxite, diamond, oil. And for the countries that are really blessed to be on the Gulf of Guinea, there's been a high level of piracy within the Gulf of Guinea. And as a government and even as a country, we've worked very hard to ensure that we protect our seas. We've had various support from developmental partners and foreign agencies to really ensure that we have high level of troops. In recent times, the president launched about 4 vessels for the Ghana Navy, and all of that is really to be able to boost.
We just launched it, or
no,
we got it?
We have it. Yes. Okay. Commissioned and launched. I mean, that was done in Western Region 4, and I think that I mean, sometimes it's truthful to be able to state that some of the precedents that foresaw, especially in our governance. A number of them had not been seen before. I mean, 4 vessels, we haven't had that in terms of high level number of capacity. And so clearly you see that as a result of this, Ghana has been very equipped and very prepared for any terror attacks. There are 4 cardinal points of the national security counterterrorism scheme. The first is really to prevent any acts of terrorism coming into your country. The second is to preempt. So there are persons that clearly you can be able to tell that these persons are planning some evil against you. The third is for you to protect, that you continually are protecting your citizens. And the fourth is to respond. And I'm not sure that we even get to that stage. But really launching this campaign is to ensure that we have an all-inclusive society involvement. And at the very highest level of security, especially modern day security, is to involve the citizens, because there are issues that citizens will be aware of. Citizens are continually commuting with the society, engaging with people, traders, people are sitting in buses, in trotro, in taxi, people are going to church, people are going to the mosque, people are going to the market, people are going to work, people are engaging at various places, young children are going to school, all of that. And clearly there are things that you can easily pick up, and the goal is that as much as we lift up a high level of security across the country and secure our borders to ensure that people do not enter into, you are able to readily give information, which is why we launched the 999. See something, say something is really the initiative to be able for you to see whatever happens within your community and for you to say it. And don't keep those information to yourself.
It's a very important topic, and so we'll get to that so that people understand it.
Absolutely.
But I am quite concerned. You took us back to 2002. And so if since 2002 there's been terrorist attacks and all of that, why are we concerned today? Reading a lot of reports, you hear that Ghana is encircled and all of that. Why is government concerned, and why should citizens be concerned?
Well, I think that immediately after the 9/11, the world changed. I mean, nobody ever thought that the Twin Towers were going to be attacked. But I mean, right after the 9/11, the world changed. And clearly seeing those and seeing really that their statistics are beginning to change, beyond kidnapping, beyond taking ransom of people, the real goal is that the Gulf of Guinea has become one of the most lucrative environments for them to be able to train their ammunitions and arms and other monies that they receive from various places, which is why they are coming coast. And so as they are coming coast, you realize that in recent times, Burkina Faso, 70% of Burkina Faso land is under terrorist security and protection. You also will recognize that Cote d'Ivoire as well has been kicked down. Benin has been kicked down. In recent times, Togo has been kicked down. The northern part of Togo was attacked a few weeks ago. They did 2 attacks. I mean, the first did not survive. The president of Togo was there to ensure that security was in there. But really, as you see it, you clearly are gradually understanding that it could be anybody, because there's a lot more of idealization of the systems of swearing their soul to Al-Shabaab, or swearing their soul to ISIS, or swearing their soul to Boko Haram, and they feel that really that's the goal for whatever they seek to do, which is why as a country we need to make sure that we are taking the precautionary measures. And so the real goal of this entire conversation is to ensure that we're taking precautionary measures. Okay,
so under the 4 cardinals, which one, where does the see something, say something fall?
Well, I believe that is the first one, which is for us to prevent. I mean, prevention comes with a high level of education. So you're educating people and the consciousness to be security conscious. And I see that it's important, because really on this continent, I find very unfortunate that many people don't take their personal security into hands. People come and park their vehicles for a long time in front of your house. Nobody cares about it, because you're like, you don't know what's happening. Somebody will come in, even your bin, somebody's come to pick your bin. The truck has been there for an hour. You're not too sure what's happening. Elsewhere, other parts of the world, you will not find this happening. Even something that is happening in your neighbor's house, you find someone calling the police and saying, I think there's something happening in my neighbor's house. Maybe you're cooking and it's burning and the scent is going around. They'll call, and then the police will knock at your door. Is everything okay here? But in this country, we don't find that. So I think that is real the beginning of us taking into our personal responsibility the essence of security. Okay,
so before we get to the very granola of see something and say something, let's hear what the National Security Minister had to say on the day of the launch of the See Something, Say Something campaign.
The See Something, Say Something campaign, therefore, is a critical preventative measure by the Ministry of National Security and the other security ministries to, first of all, empower Ghanaians to be more conscious about their own security, and secondly, to enhance their relationship with state security authorities. Say something campaign is one of the many measures currently being undertaken by the ministry to safeguard the country against terrorism and violent extremism. Numerous kinetic and non-kinetic approaches continue to be implemented in that regard. Ghanaians must therefore be rest assured that the state security and intelligence architecture is working tirelessly to protect them against any such attack. But it is also important to state that the campaign is not aimed at creating panic among the citizenry. We certainly are not panicking. Rather, it is geared toward bolstering the confidence of the public to swiftly report suspicious activities in their communities to the relevant security and intelligence agencies. And let me also state that the security ministries are aware of the possible misinformation that could be targeted at creating fear and panic. As a result, the Say Something campaign shall be run concurrently with a vigorous campaign against any misinformation that seeks to create unnecessary fear and panic among the citizenry. The Ministry of National Security and the other security ministries are counting on you, the public, to take ownership of this campaign as a way of supporting state security and intelligence agencies to reduce the threat of an attack in Ghana. We, on our part, will do all we can.
So welcome back to the studio, still Prime Morning. And so, Palgrave, say something. What exactly do you mean? So
basically, as the initiative is really to ensure that the Ghanaian people are relevant in the countering of terrorism and really in the protection of ourselves. So we are basically saying that if you see anything, you need to report it. You don't need to say that this is irrelevant. I mean, leave that to us, the security personnel, to make that decision. So like I stated, someone has parked his vehicle for a long time. You're not too sure what the person is doing. You're able to capture the vehicle number, or even if it's a DV number, you're able to capture it. If someone has left a bag anywhere, you just need to call the 999 for the police to be able to attend to it. If your child has gone to school and is back from school and there's a leaflet or anything in the bag, I mean, you want to be able to raise the alarm and mention it. If you go to church and you see that there's someone loitering around the car park and you don't know the person, you need to be able to just call 999. If you are in the mosque and you see someone just walking around untoward trying to do anything that you do not understand, you need to be able to say something and see something. So that's the real goal, that if you see anything that is unusual, unorthodox within your environment, like I've come to your studio and I've come here quite a number of times and I've seen that there's someone I've not seen before, and I would immediately say, MFR, I think I saw a certain gentleman, I'm not too sure if he works here. Can you please check if he works here? And then maybe you tell me that Palgrave is a new person that has been added to the team. So that's the real goal, that whatever you see that is unorthodox, I mean, just report it to the security services. And it's a toll-free number, 999. You don't even need to identify yourself when you call. You just can just call and say that I'm calling from Sakumono. I was just walking around Corpus Christi and I've seen a certain gentleman dressed like a madman, but I don't think he's a madman because can you please just come and attend? But really, as we also stated, that we are aware that persons would like to take advantage of this. We are aware that people would like to place prank calls, but you are aware that we also have a radio phone as security personnel, and we're always having conversations around to be able to know what prank calls are coming in and be able to ascertain what is serious and what is not serious.
Okay, so how are we ensuring that in an attempt to solve this problem or prevent any terrorist attack, we're not causing unnecessary fear?
Well, I mean, that's why we're having this conversation. So the continuous, consistent, persistent conversations that we have and the education that we have would get people to know that our security services are readily assured and readily prepared to ensure that these persons do not come into the country. But it's also important to add that we are adding technology in the midst of all of this, because the Eastern Corridor Road, there's a wide spread, I mean, lots of kilometers, and we are using drone services to just be able to pick a lot more intelligence. And proud to this as well, you are aware that at various places in this country we've mounted CCTV cameras that are picking footages at various places, recordings and all of that. So clearly we are also picking our own intelligence on the ground to be able to see how we avert these terrorist attacks.
Okay, I'm quite concerned about when they say see something, say something. One of the major causes, or one of the pointers that have been cited as a terrorist attack, or where they will take advantage, will be with countries or communities with disputes. All right, if I take a trip up north, what kind of dispute or chieftaincy misunderstanding can there be that I'll see that this is different? How different can that be for me to want to report? Like what happened in Navrongo some days ago. It's got, it's not different from what's been happening. In terms of a group taking advantage, what would be happening differently for me to want to report? Well,
so I think that clearly there's a number of things that will be happening, and you might not even be the one to report because the police are always on the ground. Up in the north, we are aware that yes, there's a high level of tensions amongst some persons in Boku, and like you mentioned, Navrongo and other places, pockets of places. The police are always involved, the military are involved. Obviously, those engagements are critical. And we are also, this is being done actually in partnership with the Ministry of Information, and so the Information Services Department is going to go into the local community to be able to engage in the local dialect for people to clearly understand what is going on. So if it's been consistent route and chieftaincy dispute, it would automatically come in even into the eyes of the police, and so the police will be aware of such information. But really, if it's something unorthodox, then you just need to be able to report it through the 999.
Okay, so I understand that this has just been launched, and then you're yet to take it to, you're yet to take the campaign maybe to the very ground level. But let's take a trip to the ground level or the base level. The 999 is toll free, but my auntie in Mangwasi, all right, how can she report, you know, something very suspicious without having to go through the 999? How else? So
the number of avenues, you are aware that we have dotted police stations in the various constituencies and various polling stations and various districts, and so, and then also we have district assembly members, we have district chief executives that you can immediately contact, and your local assembly member. So your auntie in Mangwasi, like you stated, can easily just call the local assembly rep and say that mehuse ubine namhanoma minjin di so oyeni papa inti branabe henya obetumi aye, and then the person will be able to pick it up. And that's the real goal, that we take the conversation and education to the baseline so that people can relevantly be involved.
Okay, so I'm asking how they would even, do they even know that they have opportunity now to report? Do they know, or you have plans on, how are you planning on taking it?
So which is why I stated that the entire Say Something, See Something citizen engagement campaign education is really in partnership with the Ministry for Information. And so the Information Department, Services Department is going to the ground level to have these conversations with them. So your auntie in Mangwasi should be rest assured that by today, I mean, that person is going to have engagement, community engagement and conversations with her to clearly understand that also be about umpotemu na se unim so yeni papa call assemblyman honum, and I say obeko or hine honum, and now obeko ebusapeni honum, ebusapeni ebeko prosini honum, prosini ebe reporti amayehu jumadia ekoso, and all of that. I mean, just to be able to state that if something really happens within your environment, you will just need to go to your local assembly, go to your police, go to your chief, and then the information will reach us.
Well, what's the role of the traditional council, staying in the communities? What's the role?
So, I mean, clearly, I think that we can't rule out the role of chieftaincy in the midst of this. The entire land belongs to the chiefs. I mean, as we are aware, they are custodians of the land, and we are having continuous engagement with them so that they can be highly involved. Yesterday at the launch, we witnessed the presence of a number of high-level chiefs that are going to be able to take the issues out there. And we are in partnership with the religious bodies as well. We paid a courtesy call on the chief imam yesterday, and high-level religious bodies present yesterday as well from the Christian community. And high level of them, I mean, really are just taking it down to the baseline. They are putting it into the announcement on a regular basis, on Sundays, on midweek services, prayer point, just for people to be aware and be conscious in the manner in which we fought against COVID-19 and how we partnered very strongly with the media. In that same manner, we are partnering very strongly with the media, like I am here on your platform, to ensure that the education goes down.
So my sister at home called Amma asked me a very interesting question. She says that, na sister mefa, and I quote, Adintiana Musi is a terrorist for Bagala, na plan some more decided some mobile, more come with TV, so more bet you. No, change your plans. I found it's a very interesting question and said that, okay, is this true? Is there a way that they would change means or what?
Well, no, I agree with your sister, but
okay.
I've had similar questions being asked as well.
She was asking a silly question.
No, she wasn't asking a silly question. But really, I mean, those conversations are key. But you know, there are informations that can be divulged from the security environment, which we know is of public interest. There are lots of things that I'm aware of that I cannot share publicly, and so this is basic. I mean, they are aware. I mean, clearly, even around the world, they are aware that as they are going to Benin, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Togo, I mean, which other country is next? I mean, especially that has the Gulf of Guinea. That's the goal. They are coming into the Gulf of Guinea to be able to have an opportunity to continue their pirate act on the sea, and so they are aware that conversations are ongoing. And clearly, in the various countries that were attacked as well, there were measures that were put in place.
Right.
But we are just saying that you need to be aware and you need to be involved. And I mean, there are various places, hotspots in this country that as a security environment and the attack architecture, we have deployed people to be there. I mean, obviously, at the high level of them.
We're told that there are about 74 or 5 hotspots in Ghana. Is this true?
Well, maybe a bit more. Maybe a bit more. I mean, because there are things that are of significance to us as a country.
And when you say hotspots, what do you mean? I can't assume they understand.
Oh, basically, I just think that places where it would be of interest to the world.
Okay.
Like Kotoka International Airport is a hotspot.
Okay.
Our nuclear plant at GAIEC is a hotspot. Even the national security is a hotspot. Jubilee House is a hotspot. Castle is a hotspot.
Okay.
I mean, various places where they can immediately attack for it to become a global news.
Okay.
I mean, really, that's what we mean by hotspots.
Okay. Some weeks ago, there was a communique that said the churches, it rolled out some things that the church would have to do, so that they should install CCTVs, also get approved security institutions to guard places and all of that. Are we still on that same recommendations, and how are we ensuring that they will do this? And another question that came that I found was interesting was that in the light of this, when pastors say Munkata Menini and Bompai, should we really shut our eyes? Because I mean, I'm talking about what happened in one of the churches where the person that bombed the church with a backpack actually was the nicest person, playing with the child in the church and all of that. So should we really be shutting our eyes, by the way? Anyway, so how should the churches be?
Well, I think that communique that came from national security still stands.
Okay.
For churches to be vigilant. I have in recent times even taken a tour on a number of churches, and I'd like to put one out, like the Christian Action Church. They have all these scanners there. They have all these security persons. They check your bag, and this has been ongoing. I mean, in the church for a very long time, even before this announcement came. It's been going on, predated COVID-19. And so clearly, if you are a big church and you contribute significantly, really, to the development of the country, you will really know what to do. And a number of churches have installed CCTV cameras. But to come to your question on whether to close your eyes when you are praying or not, I think that is really one of a relationship between yourself and God. But there's no biblical relevance of you closing your eyes.
In terms of pure security.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of pure security, I think that you can. The reason why people close their eyes when they pray is to ensure that you are not distracted. That's the only reason. I mean, beyond that, there's no reason. There's no biblical reference that I have found in the Bible, right up from Genesis to Revelation, or even eschatological books that I've read. I've not seen anywhere that
I find some of the questions very interesting.
But really, clearly, just to be able able to state that you just need to be aware. I don't know if this is the final state, but really to be able to say that even as a country, we've been very prepared. I mean, if you look at this document, which is the 2020 National Security Strategy, which was launched, I mean, there's never been a document like this ever since this country was founded, even from 1957. Okay. And President Nana Akufo-Addo, together with the National Security apparatus, really launched it. And prior to this as well, we launched.
Who did they launch it for?
I mean, for the country. For the country. For the country.
But how do we not have a copy?
Why do you not have a copy? This is a public document.
So what?
It's a national security. No, it's a national security strategy. It lays out the various parameters that you need to go through, the strategic context of Ghana, that domestic, regional, global threats and risk. Talks about response and protection of Ghana. Talks about safeguarding the national cohesion and peace and stability. Talks about implementation. These are public documents. I mean, I'm sure that maybe your producer will have it, but this is.
It's good to know that
it's very open to the country. And then finally, I know that we need to go back. And then there's more. Okay, sure.
The question of what to really look out for. I am very particular about persons with backpack when I go to, public places, okay? But it looks like it's become common, that it's easy to identify somebody with backpack. But what else really shall I be looking out for? And in answering that, what kind of special communication are we learning to communicate with children, especially if there's a child watching this and they don't understand? Is it that teachers are going to be taking on a certain level of training to talk to children? Are parents supposed to learn a different kind of language and all? I understand that this is very, very detailed, but I mean, if you want to break it down for viewers.
Well, I think that in simpler terms, really, as a government and even as a national security, our strategy is to engage everyone. And even at the national security, there's a desk that focuses on education. And so the constant conversation with educational institutions are key, right from the kindergarten, right up to junior high, to senior high, to the tertiary. Engagement with school prefects are key for them to be aware. Engagement with security personnel in the school is key. So, I mean, continually, like you tell your children to wear nose mask because there's COVID. It's the same thing. You tell your children that don't go to the gate alone. You tell your children when the doorbell is pressed, don't go to open the person. When the phone is rung, make sure that whoever is calling, daddy is aware, mommy is aware. I mean, all of these basic things are things that originally exist even in homes. And so the conversations are not changing, but really it's just the emphasis of it, that you tell your son, you tell your daughter, make sure that if someone knocks the door or someone knocks the gate, you're either calling daddy or mommy or calling your sister, your big sister or your big brother or your domestic worker, any of that. I mean, just to be able to ensure that we are all safe and sound.
Okay. Before we wrap up, we'll let you go back to the 4 cardinal points again, okay? But we're not even there yet. We're still on the role of the citizen. Okay, so how are we able to draw the line? Because one of the major concerns is that high level of unemployment is like the smile you're wearing. The high level of unemployment is a major risk factor. Okay, it hasn't changed. Unemployment is still an issue. Are we able to really curb the situation when one of the highest risks is still at stake?
Well, I think that the number of highest risk, I mean, it's not just unemployment. I mean, there's streetism. I mean, number of them. But clearly, all of these issues are issues that are continually being addressed by successive governments. And I believe that our government, especially the leadership of President Nana Akufo-Addo, in a few weeks is going to launch the Usthat Initiative. And I think that
what is that?
Usthat Initiative is really the initiative to have 1 million young entrepreneurs own their own work and start their own businesses. And I've done my mathematics and I've done the projections. If each of the 1 million persons start a business and employ 20 people, you are looking at a data of close to about 20 million young people in their own work. Government as an institution needs to continually create that enabling environment for the private sector to strive, and which is what we seek to do. And so in the next few weeks, you will see that the Usthat Initiative is rolled out, is going to be implemented by a number of agencies, the NEIP, the GEA, which is the Ghana Enterprise Agencies, and it's important that young people take advantage of that. And so youth unemployment, high level of unemployment is key. I mean, it's continually a major threat all around the world, and the UN data and statistics have stated that by the time Africa gets to 2063, the highest level of young people in the world is is going to be on the continent of Africa, which is 1 billion young people. So clearly, successive governments is going to be facing these challenges, but you need to tackle it holistically, one stage at a time. And I believe that as a country, and even as a government, we are being robust enough in addressing this issue as it relates to youth unemployment. Streetism, you have seen as well that as a result of these displacement, there's been close to about 400,000 plus people that have been displaced in Nigeria as a result of terror attacks. And really putting it succinctly, you've seen in recent times that there are persons at the various robots, which is traffic lights, when you get there begging for arms. I mean, persons that have come from Niger, Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast with their children and their family. So we have a national security strategy, which we have worked very clearly with the Ministry for Gender. And in the next few weeks and days, they are going to roll out a strategy to absorb all of them into a major hub where they can be ticketed for. Oh,
that's good to know.
Exactly. And the goal is that we want to be able to do this.
Do we have timelines for this?
We do have timelines. I would get those relevant details and come back to you to share with you. But really, the conversations has been held. We've had the database of the people on the streets, and they're going to be out there. So the number of risk factors, but all of these works and engagements are ongoing. At our end. Okay,
got any question for Palgrave? You can call us on 0302-211-693 or 94, or you can send me a message on 0551-575757, and then I'll read it out to him for him to answer questions. Let's go to the borderlines. This conversation we're having here with people in Accra, people in Kumasi, and not close to the borders. Is it the same kind of conversation we're having with people on the borders? I'm asking this because of how we know borders are one of the hotspots.
Absolutely.
And as a country, do we have ungoverned spaces? Do we?
Well, in the terminology of ungoverned spaces, it would be difficult to say that we do have any. The reason is that if you have a sovereign state and you have a president, the president oversees everywhere. Okay, but to its very minute level, do we have places where if you go, you really would not see that? It's just, you know what I mean? No, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's important that I let the people know that the country is governed very clearly by the president of the Republic of Ghana, who has control on the land size of the country. But I know where you're talking. I know the question you're asking. Especially because of decentralization. I know the question you're asking. I know you're asking a question about government presence at various places. But where there isn't a high level of government presence, you would find that the military is there to ensure that they maintain law and order. And the military represent government. I mean, because it's a state institution. But in terms of border towns, there are a number of unapproved routes all around the sub-region of West Africa, especially Ghana, Togo, Elubo, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, and all those other countries that border Ghana. And we, like I said, we have risen up high-level security awareness. We've deployed a lot more of our customs and preventive exercise personnel. We've deployed a lot more of our immigration. We've deployed a lot more of our military to ensure that all those unapproved routes are blocked. I mean, I've seen unapproved routes between Aflao and Togo, where people just cut the wire mesh and walk through because they do engagement every now and then. We've blocked all of those unapproved routes for you to be able to use the approved routes. I mean, I think that there's free entrance into the country as a result of ECOWAS. You have a 90-day stay within the country, so just use those approved routes. And if you have the relevant ID cards to be able to prove that you're a citizen of Togo or Burkina Faso or Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire, you'll be able to come into the country. And we are using the services of drones as well, which is technology. That, I mean, whilst other people are sleeping, technology is working for us. We are picking up the data, which we are acting upon. Like I said, in security, the number of things that we are aware of that we cannot say. But to be rest assured, the conversations that are being held in bigger cities like Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, Tamale is hired in a higher level in terms of education at the various border towns, because the context is extremely different. And it's important that we put those contexts very well. Okay, let's go to security operators. At least we have an understanding of what the role of the citizen is, but how well, in as much as you're talking to us and sensitizing us to be ready, how well are the security operators as well? I mean, you've given me a lot of confidence in them, but we've had also situations where security personnel at borderlines, I'm unable to point one, but we've got countless cases where they take bribes and allow persons to, cross the border. So the people don't really have to cut the wires, but they're really coming in and out.
What's the special arrangement for that? But how prepared are the security apparatus?
So I think that the security apparatus is very prepared. Prior to this, government has equipped highly in their infrastructure in terms of vehicles, ammunition, some ammunitions. I can't even mention the type of ammunitions that we have because I mean it's not wise to be able to do that. But we have the best of ammunitions that you can ever find anywhere in the world in this country with our security services. Infrastructure, we have beefed up their accommodation as well, and so a number of them are being comfortable in the place where they find themselves. Vehicles, we've given high level number, thousands of vehicles to the police, to the military, armor cars to them, helicopters to them, to make sure that they're able to be prepared adequately. So clearly on the security front, softwares have been given to make sure that all those security details and networks that they need is worked upon. But we're doing all of this as well with developmental partners. I mean, you are aware that Ghana has high level, good cordial relationship with developmental partners, and as we continually engage, developmental partners come along to really also help us in some of the things that we do. So security on that front, from the police to the military, the entire military architecture, Air Force, Navy, Army, very prepared, military police, very prepared. Immigration is very well equipped in terms of their infrastructure and in terms of their personnel. They've been equipped very well, and even in their trainings that they do training on counterterrorism and all of that. So all of these are trainings that are given really within the security services, and I believe that we should be very prepared for any untoward situation. Before we go on to the next question, really to be able to state that in 2018, President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is still ECOWAS chair, launched the Usthat Initiative, which was to be able to pick up intelligence from the various neighboring countries and share intelligence. So pick up intelligence and share intelligence. As a result of that, we launched the Kudangu initiative, which also helped us be able to arrest persons who were causing misunderstandings in the northern part of the country. So, I mean, clearly from since the past 4 years, government has been working assiduously to ensure that intelligence gathering become one of the cardinal points of the country.
So intelligence gathering, how? And how are we sharing it?
Intelligence gathering is gathered for our use.
Okay.
And then we deploy it to share it in a manner in which we feel this one will be important for the public, which is why at this stage, like I stated, the 4 cardinal points of the counterterrorism unit and the national security, the first is to prevent that right? You need to prevent the act of terrorism in your country. In prevention is constant education, which is why we've launched this campaign, see something, say something, as a hashtag for you to be able to call the short code 999 on all networks. You don't even need to disclose yourself. You just need to call and leave the details. All social media handles of the police, the immigration is all activated. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp is all activated that you can always use. The second really as well is to preempt. And so you need to be able to preempt, and that's where intelligence comes in, where you get into the psychological minds of the people and how they're thinking, which is why when you share your information, we as a security apparatus and personnel will be able to decode it and analyze it, because you will see the information on the face value that you've seen a red vehicle that has just parked, but we'll be able to decode it because, I mean, we know we have some details of how these persons have been working for a very long time. So we'll decode it. We have color codes for a number of things that we'll decode to be able to use it for our benefit and interest. So you preempt. The third really is also to protect. That you need to protect the citizens, and so in educating, you are protecting them as well. So on a regular basis, you see that there are police spots that are mounted during the day. You find police doing random checks at various places, especially when everybody moves into the city to work. I mean, in your home now, I can assure you that by the time you get back home, your home is peaceful. I mean, as you left it, you won't find any burglary because there are police within the environment. That's really the goal. And then the final one is to respond. Before you pick up another question, is to respond. And the response stage is where it becomes combatant. I mean, but at various places where we have seen when the terrorists enter into your country, they are there to stay.
Okay. As a security person, Palgrave, do you think that people in this country have a lot of confidence in the police? Well, and are excited to walk to the police and report anything to them, aside the 999?
Well, I think that the police is not the only security agency in the country. They represent the civilians because civilians continually engage with them. And I believe very well that the IGP, Dr. Dampari, has restored high-level confidence. And it's important that a number of times we remain positive with our conversations on how the citizens must repose confidence in the police. In recent issues that have happened around the country, namely in Koranza and all of that, incidents that have happened, you realize that the IGP immediately sent delegation from Accra to go and investigate the issue. You also would realize that they deployed all the persons, the security persons that were in Koranza to come back into Accra and send a new team there. And so all of these clearly is boosting confidence. I mean, but if you have had an issue over a long time that has become a culture, it takes time to change that culture.
Okay. Please join us in the conversation. 0302-211-693-94. Lines are opened. I'll take a few questions before I let Palgrave go. Again, I will refer to the police because it will be my first port of call if I don't even remember. In the heat of things, I may not remember the 999, though we're encouraging people to call the 999. But how am I able to identify that this is genuinely a police that I can open my doors? Say the police says, all right, we're doing random checks, you know, because of these things that have happened. We want to check the areas. We just want to be sure that everything is okay. Can you allow us, you know? How should I identify, you know? I asked this question because of what happened with Nkoranza, where we're told that the police knocked at the door of the young man and his mother in the middle of the night and said that we're going to take him for questioning. You know, how do I draw the line as a citizen? Is it just the uniform?
Well, I think that beyond the uniform, really, the police is identified immediately by their uniform. I mean, there's nothing that you can run away from that. But the
Give me a
real
minute.
goal...
Let's go to Cape Coast and talk to Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hello.
Good morning.
Please, good morning. Please, my name is John Daniel. I'm calling from Cape Coast.
Good. Thanks for calling. Please go on.
Yes. On the screen, it says, share your thoughts. Is Ghana safe from terrorist attack? To me, I would say no. Ghana is not safe because the security protection in Ghana is not all that strong, because currently we can hear that people have been killed. Even the recent issue that happened at Ola, that is CTU student who was killed. We've not even heard any news about it again. We are supposed to be get information about the issue, how far our family could do. But Ghana, our security issues are, something else.
Anyway.
They are something else.
Okay.
Ghana security issues are something else.
Okay, thank you for citing that example that happened in Ola. Thanks for calling. Your reaction? Did you know that story that happened?
I do know that story. You know, when persons who are not involved in security say that our security is not good, then it means that a lot more education needs to be held, because they are not where we are in terms of the understanding of how well our security is beefed up. I mean, they look at pockets of incidents and use those pockets of incidents to judge.
But as citizens, what else would they use?
No, but clearly, I mean, you can't use just pockets of events to judge. I mean, they are isolated incidents, clearly. Very, very isolated incidents. We sympathize with the lives that have been lost in recent times, but you are aware that it takes time for investigations to be done in this country and even around the world. In recent times, Thomas Sankara, it took close to about maybe 37 to 38 years before they found who killed him. So when incidents of this nature happens and there is an independent investigation that is ongoing, I think that we should be rest assured and continually repose trust and faith in the security services for what they do. Would you say that because you drove your vehicle and had an accident, you will not drive again? You will not trust that particular kind of vehicle? No. I mean, you continually use those vehicles, but really to ensure that you learn, what did you do? What happened that you had that accident? And then you change those acts.
Okay, let's go to Pram and talk to Nana Usu. Hi, Nana Usu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Please go on.
How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for asking.
Okay, so about the security level, when we compare ourselves to like the United States, all their security level. Hello?
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so whatever that they do underground, they hide it.
Okay.
They don't display it. So like we can see videos of our motors and the police uniform, the type of motor that they sit on and all that. When the tourists see that these motors are coming, they surely know that it is police or soldiers that are coming.
Okay.
So it is something that we need to hide our security system in a secret way, so that when they are coming, police is even coming, you don't know that this is the police coming or this is the soldier coming. And by the time that they realize, they are being arrested.
Okay, and also thank you. Similar to the question my cousin asked, that we should hide our specialties. You addressed that but maybe you should reiterate it again.
I think that the high level of our specialty is hidden.
Okay.
And around the world, I mean, I've had opportunity of seeing other parts of the world. Around the world, you clearly will see that, I mean, those things are exposed. If you see a British police person, you see a British police person. If you see an Iranian police person, you see an Iranian police person. Even in Israel, young people as young as 17 are all dressed in their military attire. Every single person of them has a pump gun. Every day.
So what, really, in essence, what you're saying is that what we see on maybe the media or out there, it's not all there is to
it's
security.
Not all there is to security. There's more, even just the minutest part.
Okay. So back to how I'm able to identify in who, yes, going beyond the uniforms, who to trust to be able to welcome and open up to.
Well, I think that immediately your personal security is important. I don't see how somebody will come and knock at your door and tell you that I'm a police person, I like to do a random check. For what purpose? You don't have a warrant from court to come into my house. So my house is my personal security space. I mean, I won't let you entrance no matter what.
Okay.
And then that's the immediate one.
Okay.
The second is that, yes, if someone does come, you need to be able to say, let me see evidence, or you make a call. And really, this is where knowledge is important and education is important. That, okay, so there are numbers that are available, ambulance numbers, police numbers, fire service numbers, immigration numbers, all these numbers are available. If someone comes and is purporting to be something else that is not, you just call to be able to verify. And I don't see that anybody should be able to enter into your personal space and begin to just interrogate you unnecessarily.
Let's go to Ann Marble, and I've got a caller. Hi.
Hello.
Good morning. I'm so sorry. I didn't get your name.
Okay, please, good morning. I'm back once again. Like, according to what he's saying, let me give this example. When the Takrady girls, they got missing, we were here, and Canadians, they came back. Canadians even came and rescued their people and sent them back to Canada. But we, the Ghanaians who have been in Ghana, the Ghanaian citizens, they were searching for them. They couldn't even find them. At the end of the day, yesterday, they found some bones in some uncompleted building. They should go and do DNA tests or what to check if it's their children. And they did that. This shows that Ghana, our security agency, is not working. It's not helping at all. It's not helping.
Okay.
It's not helping. And we, the citizens now, we are even afraid staying in the country. We are even afraid staying in the country.
Oh, wow.
Because issues here and there. It's not helping.
Thank you.
It's not helping
for sharing. Paul Grove, any reactions again? Did you have to call back
no,
again?
Absolutely. I think that really the Canadians coming in has been part of our entire strategy. I mean, sometimes when people are not aware of conversations that predate events, they assume very wrongly. And I mean, the Canadians would even admit it, that it took our Ghanaian security apparatus and entire national security architecture for us to aid them in helping them. And so all of this has been part of the works that we've been doing. They didn't come in isolation. And there's no way they can come into the country in isolation. Where do they know?
The concern is that how didn't they come in isolation and yet they had solution for them and we didn't have solution?
We'll come back. Let's go together with them.
So what? Okay, all right. So let's go to Cape Coast and talk to Pakwesi. Hi, Pakwesi. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for asking, Pakwesi. Please go on with your question or your thoughts.
My thoughts are on the security issue. I think our problem, if we're going to look at it holistically, it's more of these terror groups usually capitalize on unemployment, hardship, or the people who take advantage of some, and also on religion. make some people believe that they are doing the right thing for their beliefs. And so whatever that they are doing, they put in so much passion. And then sometimes due to anger that they have for others who are not on their side, or the pain they have from as a result of leaders failing them, they have so much passion, and then they turn out putting up such acts that affects us all as a nation or as a world.
Right.
My greatest concern is with how sometimes the security men, the apparatus, abuse people, men in uniform. We've seen it over and over. Police, military. Not long ago, somewhere in the northern region, military officers paraded people, beating them in the gutters, on the floor, on the ground, for a missing mobile phone. I mean, when the issue starts circulating, everybody's talking about it. But once it stops circulating, it ends there. We don't know what happens. And so trusting them in the first place, we can have so many incidents. I believe you and I, we know some of this. I can't mention everything. But when these things happen and we don't hear anything about how they were punished, how they were dealt with. I mean, you don't know who to trust because these are people in uniform with guns. So we have to look at it very well.
Good. Thank you so much, Pakwesi. Palgrave, do you understand, Pakwesi? Is it also a security requirement that if a security personnel gets involved in a certain form of crime, the end result or the end game is not made public? Is it also security?
To an extent, yes.
Really?
To an extent. I mean, I believe that whatever that is important to be shared publicly will be shared. And I've seen that in this country, there are security personnel that have been involved in things that they have been sacked from the uniform that I'm aware of. It's on document. I mean, they've been stripped of their uniform from their home. Okay. But obviously, you can't come and put that in the public domain.
Why not?
Well, I mean, they are done. I mean, they are done. They have been stripped off and they are gone. There's really not much that the state will need them for. So really, that's what it is. At some levels,
isn't there some sort of accountability and that will repose some level of confidence in citizens if they knew?
Well, I think that continually, once you don't see the people again, you know that they've been dismissed.
Oh, right. Okay, we've got a caller. Hi. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling again. Please tell me. Hi, Isaac.
My name is Isaac Mesa.
Good.
Okay,
how's Afijasi this morning?
Everything is going well.
Good. Please share your thoughts.
I have a question to ask.
Please do.
Please, I said if a police show up on your doorsteps in your house and tells you that they need you at the station, what are some of the advice he's going to give to the civilian?
Okay. Thanks for your question, Isaac. Did you get that?
I did.
Right.
So and it's basic. I mean, you need to let the police show you a warrant. I mean, why is he asking you to come to the station? Or don't open your door. You own yourself that right. I mean, it's your security space. Don't open your door. Let the police go. Yeah, if he stays there, let him sleep at the door.
Okay.
But until he shows you evidence. You don't need to step out.
So you need to ask for evidence. Okay, Isaac, that was a good question. I still am on the point that if a security person, because I think he's first a citizen before a security personnel, and so if some of crime is committed, it's not enough just having a communique from maybe whatever security department is coming from. Why do we not see the end game? Unless, of course, you tell me that for security reasons, they are not, the information about them or the end game about them, it's not supposed to be made public. But how are we ensuring they don't rejoin?
No, I think that it varies from whatever crime that is acted upon.
Do I have a caller? I apologize. Hi, Ben. Good morning. Okay. Hi, Ben. I appreciate that you have called us. Please do not listen to me on your television. Please lower your television. Thank you, Benjamin. Hi, Ben. Okay, I apologize, please.
No, so I think that it really depends on the level of crime. I mean, because you also need to protect the person's dignity. And the person's rights. Like I stated, I have information and documents of police persons that have, or even security persons that have been involved in things. That even those things that they have been involved in are not public.
Yeah.
But they've been laid off of their work.
But is there no fear of they becoming a danger to society?
No, I mean, in the right scheme of things, they are not supposed to be endangered to the society.
In the right scheme of
yes, but then if they do become endangered to the society, they'll be arrested. Because,
okay.
I mean, this is a country of rule and law.
Okay. Hi, Mamia.
My question is, if they attack us, what did they want from us?
Hi, Mamia. I don't know if I lost you, but are you asking about the terrorists? A potential.
What you are talking about, I don't know what they gain by attackers.
Okay. Good question, Mamia.
By the country or something.
Good question, Mamia, and thank you for asking. Palgrave, what do they want?
No, you see, Mamia asked a similar question my driver asked.
Really?
Yes, but my driver didn't ask me, I've seen that Moye sees something, says something, campaign. And then terrorists no more banner.
All right, okay. Good question,
you know,
really.
and
yeah.
I mean, really, I think that what they want clearly is established. It's resources. They are looking into coming into your country and your environment to get gold, bauxite, diamond, or iron, oil, and transport them through the Gulf of Guinea. Because that's an easy access. I mean, so clearly the Gulf of Guinea is bordered. But the sea is bordered by landmarks. You can't go and do a bridge in a sea and say that this part of the sea belongs to Togo, this part of the sea belongs to Burkina Faso. So we share intelligence and we share the sea. Okay. So it's a collective effort and of sharing that pirate acts does not continually happen at the Gulf of Guinea, which is why they keep coming south.
I'd have thought that there's the law of the sea that protects, but
there is the law of the sea that demarcates. But I mean, really, it's an open access.
I'll go to Benjamin to go back to Cape Coast. But there's a question here I want you to be thinking about before we go to Cape Coast. So, how prepared is the newly established anti-terrorist body ready to combat corruption as far as their goal and objective is concerned? Daniel Nsaki from Bema Camp says you should ask the guest for me. I'm not too sure if an anti-body is supposed to combat corruption. But no,
I think he's talking about
let's go to
special prosecutor. But
okay.
I'm not sure that's the subject of the discussion at this moment.
Okay, please, you can please define the question again. But Ben, I'm told you're back on the line. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning again, yes.
Yeah, I'm speaking from Cape Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been educated severely on these people clipping nails and those people buying scraps.
Right.
And they tell us that those people are agents of the Boko Haram people, but they are still walking around all over.
Okay, who are they?
That's a very big problem. When I see them, I know that they can be agents, but what can I do? I'm a civilian. What can I do?
Good question.
The police are there. What is happening?
Okay, thanks for the question. I wanted to ask who are the they that told them that the scrap dealers are, but are you saying, for clarity, they are potential people? They are people that can be used by terrorist group?
Well, I think that everybody's a potential person. I'm a potential person to be used.
Okay.
You are a potential person to be used.
So what should he do? He's asking.
No, I think that immediately when you see anything, we've put out a number, 999. Immediately call that toll-free number on any of your networks, MTN, Airtel, Tigo, Vodafone, and Glo. Call them and share your issue. If you find anything untoward, take a picture, put it on social media, tag all the police handles, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and make sure that that information is trending as much as possible.
It looks like I have to be opening a social media account for my auntie Mangwasi. All right, so I'm David from Kumasi. Youth are very interested to join the security services. Please, when are you going to stop selling security services forms to our youth instead of bringing foreigners to support? I didn't quite get the question, did you?
Well, I think that his question is basically on the selling of forms for our security services.
Okay.
When you are making application, but really, you see, Emefa, let's face the truth and the reality. Okay.
Let's go to Araba. Hi, Araba.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to ask a question.
Please do.
Pardon?
Please do.
Yes. I want to ask a question.
Yeah, so please do.
something happened in my home. It's fully walled. And I saw people with guns.
Okay, do not listen to yourself on the television. Listen to me on the phone.
Okay.
Yes.
And I called the police. I called them. Nobody picked it up. After, I am. I called several times. Nobody picked it up. Until about 5 hours later, somebody called me and said, "Did you call emergency?" And I said, "Forget it. If the emergency happens, if it's an emergency line, the emergency would have happened already."
Right.
5 hours.
But Auntie Araba, I hope that there was nobody harmed at home and you're safe too. And when did this happen?
Oh, about 4 months ago.
Okay, but are you safe? Was everything okay?
Yeah, but after 5 hours, it's happening, and I called the emergency and they do not reply. Then what?
Yeah, good question. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a good question to ask. Thank you. Palgrave.
I really sympathize with Auntie Araba. I think that after this conversation, you should give me her personal number. I would go and visit her and have some conversations with her.
Okay. Auntie Araba, if you're able to call back, we'll take your number and give it to Palgrave so that we can at least investigate any further. But again, generally, police response, security response, if we don't get that immediate response, then what? What should a citizen do? What should be the next port of call?
I think that citizen involvement in local community is key. And so if you don't get that immediate response, but I must sincerely really sympathize with persons that have really called these numbers and they haven't had responses.
Okay.
We would check that as a system, but also to assure the Ghanaian people that the 999 is a rapid response system.
Okay.
With a particular call center with multiple number of people. And so the situation that Auntie Araba is narrating is not going to be that case.
Okay.
But also to be able to state that we are very much rest assured to be able to assist the Ghanaian people. Get yourself involved in a local community, get to know your local assembly member, get to know your presiding member, get to know your DCE, get to know your chief, get to know your busuapeni, get their numbers in touch. Around that. So in such emergencies, you call all the value chain of persons that are relevant to you.
Okay, we'll go to Japan. Hi, Maxwell.
Yes.
Hi, Maxwell. Okay.
My name is Mark. I'm calling from Japan.
Okay, Mark.
First, we have a trust on our police people in Japan.
I didn't quite get that.
And first, we have a trust on our police people in Japan. But now, something happened in Broadway, and they have. First, something happened in Broadway.
Okay.
Near Japan, and we call police people that they should come and help us. Up to now, we never get. They shoot somebody, and the person died before, and we call police people.
Are you talking now? Like, is this happening now?
This thing happened 2 years ago.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Last month, the same thing happened in Broadway. And they call police people, they came back, they never do anything. Some of people, they buy guns to some people. They buy guns to some people, and we go to a point, report the case. Up to now, we never heard anything about it. Since then, we never have any trust with the police people.
Oh, so you're talking about trust for the police is dwindled. Okay. Thank you. Paul Garvey has been addressing that. So I'll take a few messages. Good morning, MFR. The identifiable physical presence of the security is very good for deterrence and prevention. This is coming from Thomas from Takrady. Says that, good morning, I'm really enjoying the program, and if I would understand the security personnel well, upon the question you ask about accountability to the citizenry, I think we need to know and also know how to transact business with them, because I may know a security person, but who might be in his uniform stripped off without knowing, and most of them, I believe, are using that as an advantage. Samuel from Mamprobi. Did you get that?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay. Hi, I am Jonas from Paga Border. Please, I think the immigration service should be provided with enough weapons. Is it weapons? Weapons are for distraction, but ammunition.
Yeah, weapons.
Weapons, okay. I remember an attack in the Burkina Faso border, which made us very scared because even our immigration officers were running to save themselves. Okay, Palgrave. Are they well equipped?
All the security services are well equipped.
Okay. Smith from Techiman says that, good morning. We will require the authority to fully account to us whenever any security officer who involves himself or herself in an odd act and has been sacked. This is coming from Smith Techiman. I've seen loads of your messages. I apologize if I'm unable to take all of your messages. Says that, good morning, I am Cyril. I think the problem with your security is that it's being politicized. We also lack security equipment, and I don't think the government of Ghana is investing much into it. Last time was watching a video on YouTube and comparing even Ghana security with Nigeria security in terms of itineraries. I was very, very sad. Cyril, thanks for the message. I may take this final one. I am Ernest from Koforidua. Please, if your guest is saying some security persons are fired from job and if they engage in indiscipline act and the information is not relayed to the immediate public, how will the citizens, especially those in the community, know he's not part of the security service anymore? We know people of such status can put back their uniform and mount barriers in the night and engage in crimes with their uniforms on. Please let him clarify. It looks like people are concerned about.
Yeah, so in clarification, even in the security services, when you retire, all your uniform is recorded back. Every single thing is recorded back. Even at your death, as a security personnel, all your uniforms are recorded back from your family. I mean, I lived in Burma camp, so I know how the security services works, and I've been involved in this for quite a bit of time. So anyone that has been sacked from any of the security services, even those that are on suspension, all their uniforms are recorded back, all their guns are recorded back, all their bullets are recorded back. Every single thing that they have is recorded back, from handcuff to radio phone to uniform to gun to pistol, pump action, everything is recorded back. Okay. And so they can't pose a trust. And really, government has also passed the RTI law, and so if you want to get any information, just request for it. It's available.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Next time we'll talk about the so many ammunitions that are circulating in the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
maybe you should also get me together with the Small Arms Association.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
We can have that conversation.
All right. Thank you. So today, by now you know that you see something, say something, and the toll number is 999, and then you will be responded to. I hope that people's identity are also protected. People who decide to go
very much. I mean, you don't need to even disclose your name, but if you disclose your name as well, it's protected. It's non-relevant to the cause as we take it today.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. It's been a good one. Have a good one, Palgrave.
Thank you.
Do stay. There's more on the show.